All right, so maybe you're giving your dog tons of exercise, walks, playtime, even trips to the dog park. But you're still seeing some of those like restless behaviors,
Yeah.
getting into things they shouldn't or just not settling down the way you hoped.
Right.
Ever feel like maybe we're missing something when it comes to their well-being?
You might be onto something.
Yeah. Okay.
We often get so caught up in our dog's physical needs that we totally forget their minds need a workout too.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, think about it. They're wild ancestors.
Yeah.
They were constantly problem solving, engaged in complex behaviors, like hunting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We may have domesticated them, but those instincts to think and work things out, those are still hardwired into their brains.
So you're saying it's not enough to just tire them out physically?
Exactly. If those mental needs aren't being met,
Yeah.
all that pent-up energy can actually lead to some of those behavioral issues you're seeing.
Oh, so like what kind of things?
Destructive chewing digging. Oh.
Excessive barking, even if they're getting walks and playtime.
So even if they're getting exercise,
It's not enough.
still not enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what's the solution?
Well, one of the most effective and honestly enjoyable ways is through what we call brain training.
Brain training. Yeah.
You're essentially tapping into your dog's natural intelligence
Okay.
and providing engaging activities that make them think and problem solve.
So brain training for dogs, huh? Is that like teaching them calculus or something?
Not quite. Haha.
Okay.
Think of it more like giving them a series of fun puzzles and challenges.
Oh, okay. Like brain games for dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And the great thing is, mental exercise affects them differently than physical activity.
Oh, how so?
Well, you know how you feel after solving a challenging puzzle versus going for a run?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a different kind of tired, right?
Totally.
A sense of deep satisfaction.
Like my brain is pleasantly exhausted,
Exactly.
but in a good way.
Yeah, and dogs get that same feeling.
Really? So they actually experience that? They do. Mental exercise changes their brain chemistry.
Wow.
Activities that make them think and problem solve release these neurochemicals, like dopamine and endorphins, which have those calming and mood-boosting effects.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about tiring them out. It's actually like...
It's about fulfilling a fundamental need for mental engagement.
So we're kind of like tapping into their inner Zen master by giving their brains a workout.
Exactly. And one of the most interesting things about brain training is that it can lead to some pretty remarkable transformations.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually came across this story in the source material
Okay.
about a border collie named Max,
Oh, Max.
who, despite getting plenty of physical activity,
Okay.
was still bouncing off the walls, constantly getting into trouble.
Oh, no. Poor Max.
Yeah, his owner was at her wit's end.
I bet a lot of our listeners can relate to that feeling.
Yeah, sure.
So what happened? Did brain training actually make a difference for Max?
It did. His owner started incorporating just 15 minutes of brain training twice a day. Okay.
And the change was incredible.
Wow, just 15 minutes twice a day.
Yeah,
So you're telling me even small doses of brain training can have a big impact?
absolutely. It's about quality over quantity.
Okay.
Even short bursts of focused mental activity can make a world of difference.
This is all so interesting. I'm really curious now. How does brain training actually work?
Yeah.
What kind of activities are we talking about?
Well, it can really be anything that makes them think and use their brains.
Okay.
For example, puzzle toys are a great option.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole range out there, from those classic treat dispensing balls
Right.
to more complex puzzles that require them to slide levers, lift flaps, navigate mazes,
Oh, wow.
all to get to the reward.
So it's not just about the treat itself, it's the challenge of actually getting to it.
Exactly. It's all about problem solving and tapping into those natural foraging instincts.
That makes sense.
For dogs, it's incredibly stimulating
Yeah.
to use their noses and their brains to work things out.
Even something as simple as hiding their favorite toy
Right?
and having them sniff it out
Yeah.
can be a great brain workout.
Okay, so that's something anyone can do with their dog,
Exactly.
no matter their age or breed.
You got it. And there are even brain training games you can play with just your voice and a few treats.
Not really? Like what?
Like the hot and cold game.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
You hide a treat and then use your voice to guide your dog towards it.
Okay.
Saying hot when they're getting closer and cold when they're moving away.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun for both the dog and the owner.
exactly.
So if brain training is so beneficial, where does traditional obedience training fit into all of this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it still important?
Absolutely. Traditional training is crucial for teaching your dog basic commands. and building that foundation of communication.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily provide the kind of mental stimulation they crave.
So it's like you can teach someone to walk, but that doesn't mean they're ready to run a marathon.
That's a great analogy. Brain training is about taking things to the next level.
Yeah.
Giving your dog a chance to really flex those mental muscles and use their brains to their full potential.
This is all starting to make so much sense. And the best part is we're not just talking about having a calmer, better behaved dog.
Right.
You mentioned earlier that brain training can actually have much deeper, more long-term benefits, right?
Yes, that's right. One of the most significant benefits is improved emotional regulation.
Okay, interesting.
Brain training helps them develop better impulse control.
Okay.
And become less reactive in challenging or stressful situations.
So instead of barking frantically at the mailman or getting overwhelmed at the dog park, they're able to stay calmer and kind of think things through.
Exactly. They're essentially learning how to manage their emotions.
Wow.
And respond to situations in a more balanced way.
Okay.
And this can have a huge impact on their overall well-being and happiness.
That's amazing. I can see why you're so passionate about this. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think it's important to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Why do so many traditional training methods fall short when it comes to meeting a dog's mental needs?
That's a great question, and it's something a lot of people wonder about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying to satisfy a pro athlete's need for exercise by making them just walk around the block.
Right.
Sure, they're getting some movement, but it's not really challenging them on a level that truly engages their physical and mental capabilities.
I see what you mean.
You know, a lot of traditional approaches, while well-intentioned, they focus so heavily on physical exercise or strict obedience drills that they kind of miss the mark when it comes to providing that crucial cognitive enrichment.
So it's like we've been trying to fit a square peg in a round hole
Exactly.
by focusing solely on physical exertion or rigid commands.
Precisely. Dogs are incredibly intelligent creatures.
Right.
They need those mental challenges just as much as they need the physical activity.
Yeah.
And when we fail to provide those challenges, we start seeing those unwanted behaviors.
Oh.
It's their way of trying to find an outlet for all that pent-up mental energy.
So it's not that they're being bad, they're just bored.
Exactly. They're seeking stimulation engagement, something that makes them think and use their natural instincts.
So how do we give them that?
Well,
What are some specific brain training exercises that our listeners can start trying with their dogs right now?
we already talked about puzzle toys,
Right.
which are a fantastic option.
Yeah.
The key is to choose toys that are appropriate for your dog's age, breed, and skill level.
Okay.
You know, for beginners, you might start with a simple treat dispensing ball.
Right.
But as your dog gets the hang of it, you can gradually introduce more challenging puzzles
Okay.
that require multiple steps or problem-solving strategies.
So like what would those be?
Well, for example, there are puzzles where they have to lift flaps in a certain sequence,
Oh, wow.
rotate discs, or even navigate a mini maze to get to the treat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Sounds like there's a whole world of puzzle toys out there.
there is. And I love that you can adjust the difficulty as your dog progresses.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about finding the treat.
Wait.
It's about the mental process they go through to get there.
You mentioned earlier that even hiding a toy and having them sniff it out can be a great brain workout.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give us some more ideas for simple games we can play with our dogs?
Of course. Hide and seek is a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
You can start by simply hiding their favorite toy in another room
Okay.
and encouraging them to find it.
Yeah.
As they get better, you can make it more challenging
Okay.
by hiding it in harder-to-reach places,
Oh, like where?
like under blankets, behind furniture, or even outside in the yard.
So we're essentially turning their everyday environment into a giant puzzle.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how much they enjoy using their noses to solve these little mysteries.
Oh, I bet.
Another fun game is shell game.
Shell game. Okay.
You take 3 identical cups and hide a treat under one of them.
Okay.
Then you shuffle the cups around and have your dog try to find the one with the treat.
Well, that's the classic shell game humans play.
Exactly.
I bet dogs love that.
They do. It's a great way to challenge their sense of smell and their problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
And as they get better, you can add more cups or make the shuffling more complex.
That's cool. So what I'm realizing is there are so many ways to incorporate brain training into our daily routines without it feeling like a chore.
That's the beauty of it. You can turn everyday activities into opportunities for mental enrichment.
So like what?
Well, for example, instead of just putting their food bowl down,
Right.
try using a slow feeder bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Or scatter their food in a puzzle toy around the yard
Okay.
to encourage them to forage.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It makes mealtime more engaging and stimulating.
Exactly.
What about incorporating some training into these brain games?
Yeah.
Can we use brain training to teach new commands or tricks?
Absolutely. In fact, teaching new tricks is a fantastic way to provide mental stimulation.
Okay.
But instead of focusing solely on rote memorization, try to choose tricks that require problem solving or decision making.
So something like teaching them to fetch a specific toy by name.
Yeah.
Or learning to navigate a simple obstacle course.
Exactly. Those kinds of activities engage their minds on multiple levels.
Right.
They have to listen to your commands, process the information, and then figure out how to execute the task.
So it's a lot more than just sit, stay calm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
You can even get creative and make up your own unique tricks and challenges.
I'm starting to see how this is so much more enriching than just going through the motions of basic obedience commands.
Yeah.
But for those listeners who might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I'm already super busy.
Yeah.
How do I find the time to add brain training to my already packed schedule?
Yeah, that's a common concern.
What advice do you have?
Well, it's all about finding what works for you and your dog.
Okay.
Remember, even short bursts of mental activity can make a big difference.
Right.
You don't have to carve out hours of your day.
Yeah.
Even 10, 15 minutes of focused brain training a few times a week can have a significant impact on their behavior and well-being.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And you can easily incorporate brain training into your existing routine.
Okay.
For example, you could spend 5 minutes working on a puzzle toy with your dog before their morning walk.
Right.
Or play a quick game of hide and seek while you're waiting for dinner to cook.
So it's about making it a part of your daily life.
Exactly.
Rather than something extra you had to squeeze in.
Precisely. And the more you do it, the more you'll start to understand your dog's unique learning style.
Okay.
Their strengths, their preferences.
Yeah.
You'll become a team, working together to unlock their full cognitive potential.
I love that.
And remember, brain training shouldn't feel like a chore.
Right.
It should be fun for both you and your dog.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, your dog will pick up on that.
Yes, for sure.
And be less likely to engage.
Right.
So choose activities that you both find stimulating and rewarding.
So we're talking about building a stronger bond with our dogs.
Absolutely.
Through these shared experiences of learning and discovery.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
The long-term benefits of brain training extend far beyond just improved behavior.
Okay, like what?
We've touched on emotional regulation,
All right.
but it also helps them develop better problem-solving skills,
All right.
which can translate to everything from figuring out how to get a toy out from under the couch
Right.
to navigating social interactions with other dogs.
So it's really about equipping them with the mental tools they need to thrive in our human world.
Exactly. And the stronger their cognitive abilities, the better they're able to communicate with us, understand our expectations, and simply enjoy life to the fullest.
It's almost as if we're helping them unlock their full potential, both mentally and emotionally, by giving them these opportunities to learn and grow.
Precisely. It's about seeing our dogs not just as pets,
Right.
but as intelligent beings with complex needs
Yeah.
and an incredible capacity for learning and growth.
It really makes you wonder, what else might we be missing when it comes to understanding our canine companions?
Right.
What other amazing things are they capable of if we just give them the right kind of mental stimulation?
That's the beauty of it. There's always more to discover,
Yeah.
more ways to challenge and engage their minds.
And as you start incorporating brain training into your routine, you'll likely find that you're not just training your dog. You're learning and growing right alongside them.
Absolutely. It's like this incredible journey of discovery for both of you.
I love that. But before we dive into the wrap-up,
Okay.
I want to bring us back to Max for a moment.
Oh, yeah. Max?
His story was such a powerful example of how brain training can make a real difference.
It really is.
What were some of the specific techniques his owner used that led to those remarkable changes?
Well, Max's owner started with some really simple exercises, like having him work for his meals by scattering his food in a puzzle toy or hiding it around the house.
Oh, okay.
She also taught him a new trick every week,
Oh, wow.
focusing on tricks that required him to think and problem solve,
Like what?
like learning to fetch specific toys by name,
Okay.
or figuring out how to open a treat puzzle box.
So she was really intentional about choosing activities that challenged him mentally.
Exactly. And she made sure to keep the training sessions short and fun, always ending on a positive note.
Okay.
She also incorporated brain training into their everyday routines.
Okay.
Like having Max find his leash before walks or hiding his toys in different spots around the house.
It sounds like she really made brain training a part of their lifestyle,
Exactly.
not just a separate activity.
And the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Max went from being a hyperactive, destructive dog
Right.
to a calm, confident, and engaged companion.
Wow.
His owner said that brain training not only transformed his behavior, but also deepened their bond in a way she never thought possible.
It's such an inspiring story, and I think it really highlights the power of brain training to not only address behavioral issues, but also enhance the overall quality of life for both dogs and their owners.
Absolutely. It's about creating a more fulfilling and harmonious relationship based on mutual understanding and respect.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to go back to the listener for a moment.
Okay.
If you're hearing all this and thinking, okay, I'm sold, what do I start?
Right.
What's the first step?
The first step is simply awareness.
Okay.
Recognize that your dog needs mental exercise just as much as physical exercise.
Yeah.
Start observing their behavior.
Okay.
Are they showing any of those signs we talked about?
Like what?
Restlessness, destructive behavior, difficulty settling down.
So those are all clues that they might be craving more mental engagement.
Exactly.
And once you've tuned into that, the fun part begins. What would you say is the most important thing for listeners to keep in mind as they embark on their brain training journey?
I think the most important thing is to remember that every dog is an individual.
Oh.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
What works for one dog might not work for another.
Okay, so like, how do we figure that out?
It's really about observation and experimentation.
Okay.
Pay attention to what your dog enjoys, what motivates them, what challenges them.
So it's like finding their own unique learning style.
Exactly. And then you can tailor your brain training activities to match their personality and preferences.
That makes sense.
Some dogs might thrive on puzzle toys,
right?
While others might prefer scent work or trick training.
So really just got to kind of try things out and see what sticks.
Exactly. It's all about making it fun and engaging.
So it's not just about fixing problems or preventing boredom.
Right. It's about enriching their lives. Helping them reach their full cognitive potential.
I love that. It's not just about training. It's about nurturing their minds.
Exactly.
Helping them thrive.
And building a deeper connection with them. Understanding them on a whole new level.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I'm all ears.
What unique brain training activities can you come up with that match your dog's personality and interests?
I love that question. It really gets people thinking outside the box.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
For sure.
Maybe your dog loves to sniff.
Yeah.
So you could create a scent work obstacle course in your backyard.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Or maybe they're super playful.
Right.
So you can incorporate brain training into their favorite games of fetch or tug of war.
The key is to have fun experiment. See what sparks that light in their eyes.
So to all our listeners out there who are ready to embark on this journey of brain training, we say, get creative.
Yes.
Have fun and watch your dog flourish.
You might even discover some hidden talents and abilities you never knew they had.
Exactly. And you might even learn a thing or two yourself along the way.
Absolutely. It's a learning experience for both of you.
That's the beauty of the human-animal bond.
Couldn't agree more.
Always learning and growing together.